Super Bowl, lads?
Let's do it.
So I guess we'll kick off with our review. Rams and Bengals taking on each other. Simpsons was slightly off.
They had the Bengals winning, did they?
Yeah, they had Bengals winning 34-31. And I think, what was our final score?
24-20.
20. So, yeah.
23-20?
23-20. 23-20. Around there.
No, it was 23-20 because I took a 42.5 line. I remember.
Yeah, that's it.
And
we were going overs hard.
We were, and I bitched it, and I thought, oh, that line is way too much. I'm going to drop it down to 42.5. It came through.
Yeah.
I missed out by 2 yards from Van Jefferson, who, what about one of the all-time days?
Yep.
Won the Super Bowl, had a child within 3 hours.
Yeah.
He didn't physically give birth. But the wife was there, you know.
They had to stretch her out.
Around due date, went into labour during the Super Bowl. Van finishes, says, cheers, boys, I love you. Going to shoot off to the hospital.
Yeah.
And had the safe arrival of his second bubba the day that he wins the Super Bowl. That is absolute scenes. Good on you, Van Jefferson.
But you fucked me, Multi.
Well, no. You know what? I'm more about the story than the $120 that I would have won with this multi. You know what? I'm happy to let that 120 go through to the keeper. You know, we've got $8 donations coming into the Esky now. Like, obviously, we don't need to worry too much about winning $120. I'm more about the story, the storyline of Van Jefferson having a baby and winning the Super Bowl in the same day. And on multi perspective, has been killing it for me all year, especially with Robbie Woods, Bobby Trees, having a bit of a down year. Van Jefferson taking him for 25 yards. He actually won me a little bit of money. So no hate from here.
Not at all. And the video, the scenes of like the assistant running up to him while he's there with his other kids celebrating the confetti. And it's like, oh, your wife's giving birth now. You need to go.
Get
and it's
out of
just
here.
like, hey, mummy, mummy's having a baby. We need to go. And the kids are like, all right, cool.
That is it's such a story. It's such a cool, wholesome story.
It is.
Back to the football.
What about the curse of the toss?
Yeah, toss.
So start at the coin toss, and they full said it. When the Bengals won the toss, they're like, oh, I don't know if that's a good thing, because for whatever reason, Bengals now make it 8 teams in a row that have won the toss that lose the game.
Yep.
Getting a little bit weird, 8 spins in a row at 2 up, 8 red or blacks on the pokies. Yep. It's, you often hear 3 or 4, but 8 in a row.
Well, two home teams have won the last 2 Super Bowls as well as away teams. But
there you
go. Also on that, last 10, I think, Super Bowls, team that won the toss deferred. So I think it's probably saying a little bit more to deferring to
Tactics,
the second half than possibly a coin toss.
There you go. Get that ball. Go and
score, toss, receive.
That's right.
Got to go score first.
Yeah. Have some confidence. Get that ball. Go score. There you go. Interesting. Numbers, but interesting. Bengals, very early on, they went for it on that 4th and 1 about midfield. The first, turned it over.
The first quarter of football kind of led towards that we were going to go overs in this. They could move the ball. Teams they're both going up and down the field.
Yeah, and then led to the Rams maybe running away with it as well.
Yes, yeah. They went up 2 touchdowns, and you were just at that point you were just like, oh, I'm starting to feel a bit worried for the Bengals here. But then they clawed their way back into it and got back into the game.
Starting to feel a bit of that. What was that? Denver Carolina game.
No, Denver Seahawks.
Seahawks.
Yeah, where it got away and it was just like it was 40 to 12.
One of the worst viewing games as a neutral.
Yeah, you just like hopefully because it was 2 easy touchdowns the length of the field and you're just like they're on got the mojo, they're on the roll.
Horrible Super Bowl.
Really props to the Bengals D. They kind of changed it up a little bit and shut them down. They really stopped the run. They went hard after the run, and
we were questioning that front 7 of the Bengals. Would they be able to stop the run? We all thought Cam Akers overs was a good bet. Yeah. They did really well in shutting down Cam Akers, and that front 7 stepped up big time.
Also, I think the really big change was OBJ. So OBJ going out, then they could do what they needed to cover.
And poor bloke,
Cooper.
Got the first touchdown of the game. Big Drake dropped, $500,000 or something for him to score a touchdown. Got it done early. He absolutely torched Mike Hilton with a little show and go, the old sluggo. How about his resurgence? A lot of shade thrown around him at Cleveland. He's washed up. He's this and that, and you get him into a different system and has been absolutely outstanding. Well, fuck, ACLs suck. They suck, man. On turf.
Turf as well, like you just see the foot just kind of digs in there, the leg doesn't move, and pop, Out goes his knee, non-contact, and you're just like, oh, that sucks. You knew straight away that, hey, that's a bad knee injury of one of the ligaments, and unfortunately,
the worst one. Yeah, the worst one. I saw something on socials this week as to why do they even exist? Well, they exist to stop that movement coming
prevent that knee going
of the tibia going past the femur forwards. But yeah, it just sucks, man. In the Super Bowl, but what would you take as well? What would you take? Super Bowl ring.
Yeah,
scored a touchdown in a Super Bowl.
If there's a place you do an ACL, you'd want to do it in winning a Super Bowl
after you've scored and the team goes on to win. Like you've got everything outside of your control. It all went right outside of the ACL. Yeah. So wishing OBJ, the best. He'll get some of the most elite rehab and elite surgery in the world. So wishing him all the best and happy for him, man. People all shitting on him. Even last year, I was Macca had OBJ in his top 10 receivers in the league. I laughed at him. I said, "Oh, come on, man, OBJ."
He hasn't done anything recent, but talent-wise,
talent-wise,
production-wise at the Browns. It was underutilized. You can't.
I think that might now becoming more of a quarterback issue than a wide receiver.
And that's what it seems.
I think it also helps. He doesn't have to be the true number one as well. Like Cooper, a lot of taking a lot of that, and then Jefferson there. You can't sneeze on him either. So it makes it easier where he can fit where he needs, and of course having someone like Sean McVay using you,
youngest Super Bowl coach, winning coach ever.
Yep.
Had already been there he's 33 when he went there first time. Woo! That's us next year. Let's go. Next year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's this year.
Oh wait, it is this year.
You old fucks. Ain't no spring chicken like this dude in the middle. Who would have thought I'd be the youngest out of us three? Definitely the dumbest.
I want to say thank you for Rick and for reminding this. MVP of the year has to be OBJ's dad. So put out that video. And
that video. And with this, everybody hurts sometimes. Elite video. We kind of laughed a little bit at it, And
just give him like, your dad doing this, but he did him a
OBJ's dad. We should have shouted him a bit. That was an elite video, elite YouTubing. Maybe that's what we need to do, get out of this podcast game where, we get 100 listens an episode or whatever and just start making videos to a song that often gets played, through hangovers, people driving home, everybody hurts, to just guys just being wide open and not getting the ball. Shout out. He's a real one. What happened after the OBJ injury? We saw Jamar Chase have that big catch on that deep ball, absolutely torched Jalen Ramsey. They only got a field goal out of it, 7-3.
Small face mask, maybe, but
we'll get to the big face mask in a minute.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp scored the first of his 2 touchdowns on the day. Stafford rolling right, hit him wide open. It's funny when teams get down to the goal line. Not really goal line. This is more red zone than goal line, and they just can't account for the guy that's most likely getting the ball. Then we had the Higgins touchdown from Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
Well, I think this, 13-3 at this point where we're like, is it?
You were worried. You said,
because they were moving the ball like at will, and then of course OBJ gets injured, and then the Bengals D kind of really stepped up. But then also on the flip side, the Bengals. They this series as well really did a good job blocking and keeping Burrow upright. They moved down the field and then a nice little play there by Mixon to get it there and throw on the touchdown to Higgins. And you're like, they've he's 13-10 to go in a half like that. I would have, as a Bengals, I would have taken a lot of confidence in going, hey, we're still in this football game.
Momentum shift.
It's still really close, and it kind of showed when they came out of the half. And was just like,
what about this play?
Let's just take a shot downfield.
Let's talk about this play. It wasn't really a shot down, it wasn't that big a ball. It was a one-on-one, obviously. Ramsey and Higgins.
It would be considered a deep ball. It was over 20 yards, so.
Was it it should have been offensive pass interference. Do you think?
Yeah, it was big time face mask, but
Ramsey was filthy.
Yeah, they didn't get this one, but I think they got some tie-ups.
It kind of evened itself out. I don't know.
It didn't decide the game.
We're in the most expensive stadium in the world. We've got how many hundreds of cameras out there, and they miss shit like this, and you're kind of like, Yeah. And I'm no Jalen Ramsey fan, man. Like I respect the man as the best cornerback in the NFL. Kind of the shit talking and the this and that and sliding into DMs of other wide receivers missos. A little bit questionable for me, but can't shit on his talent. And he had a right to be upset with this one, I thought. It should have been offensive pass interference.
It was a fair miscall.
And that's coming from a former receiver sitting next to two former defensive backs.
I think the one that caught on Logan Wilson in the side of 10, that was I can see why they called the holding there, because you can see the angle with the hand around the player, so you can, like, it can constitute a hold, but I thought it was a poor call overall there on Cooper, I believe, and that put them right on the goal line, and they scored I think 2 plays later. So
it was sort of turning him around, but
you could see Cooper was really not going to make much difference, and Logan kind of come all the way across and hit the ball down. But the hand there, it looks like a hole. And it doesn't help that he's wearing orange gloves and then we've got white jerseys. Like, it's clear as fucking day that his hand is around the waist and there. So anyway.
Yeah.
So where are we at? 13-10 half? No, we're past that. 17-3 with the Higgins touchdown.
Yeah.
They trade a few field goals. It's 20-16. The fourth quarter, unreal kind of battle. It's a really close fought Super Bowl. Is what we like to see. And then big Cooper Cup. Add to the resume Super Bowl MVP to one of the greatest receiving years on record. And again, we spoke about it.
I don't want to say like a quiet game to that point, but to that point, like
to his lofty standards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay,
like
sure.
They've done a bit of a job holding on to him, and then the fourth quarter, they just. I think even Stafford said, like, we talked to McVay and he just said we're going to feed Cooper, and they did, and then that drive leading to the touchdown, the drive leading to the field goal, and then the drive leading to the touchdown. They really went after him. Went to him, the no look pass from Stafford to
that was huge
to
Cooper
to draw in. I can't remember, it wasn't Hilton, and it might have been Bell. It was one of the safeties. He kind of coming across and just gives him enough room for him to get in there and then get one of the long gains. And I think it was a third down as well. So it was impressive there. They got a few nice pass interference or pass related penalties inside the goal, inside the red zone there. And then to burn Eli Apple again when the game's on the line. Let's go 1-on-1.
Poor Eli Apple
against Cooper. So.
I saw some lady
getting roasted on social.
So bad. Bad. Some reporter was there saying, "Here covering my first Super Bowl, unlike Eli Apple." I'm like, I know we talk shit, but come on, man.
I think we highlighted this could be an issue like last week in the preview as well. Yes. Like he's no Ramsey, he's going to go 1-on-1 against you guy. Like,
speaking of Ramsey, Ramsey got torched like multiple times throughout the game. Yeah. Yes, that one on Higgins was very, very questionable. Yeah. But there was times when Chase was on him and Chase was wide open. And let's talk about how the game finished.
Yeah.
The Rams defense, you mentioned it earlier in the year with Von Miller.
Yeah, so talk about the defense. I'm not sure if you can find it quickly. I think they had 1 sack in the first half and had 6 in the second. I think that's the numbers. And they really, to pick up on their defensive line approach, they're rushing 4 for most of the game, but no one really over center. Then they changed the whole layout where they had someone either over center or they overloaded, which then gave Aaron Donald 1-on-1s and then had Von Miller on his outside with the 1-on-1, and then they just dominated. So they couldn't slide. They took, because the Bengals center essentially was sliding all the way across the double and triple team Donald, but they overloaded him and then put him against that line to try and get that matchup, and they dominated. I think they won the Super Bowl based on that.
Yeah, I think that is how they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was in that second half. So they had 1 sack just leading into halftime by Leonard Floyd, and then after that, second half is where they got.
Yeah, so give
that front seven.
Give that defensive side of the Rams, the coaching staff there, for making an adjustment there. And hey, they're not really dealing with us with the overload or with a guy over center. I think is it Aaron Robinson?
Sean Robinson?
Yeah.
He's very close.
Robinson.
It's one letter off your name.
So Robertson, more of a run stuffer, but then they put him over centre, and that really helped Donald dominate. So
Big time.
I think that was huge kind of moment or strategy change in the game, which really turned there, and it's probably answered the final play, the end game, and kind of showed a 1-on-1 for Aaron Donald, and he's unblockable.
Did he get credited with that sack at the end?
Not a sack because it was a forward pass, so incompletion, but it was fourth down at the end of the game. So
Sure.
because he would have got 3 sacks in that if that was the case. So he got 2, Von got 2, and I think the other 3 were shared between the others.
Chase was so open there again.
Ramsey fell down, so he was open. It was walking touchdown.
We spoke about the Bengals' offensive line. They needed to step up against this nasty Los Angeles Rams front 7. And had they been able to give Joey Burrow another second, two seconds there, and we might have
needed
we might have seen Jamar Chase walking into the end zone to win the Super Bowl.
Yep,
it's nuts, man. And look, let's talk about going forward. If you wouldn't mind scrolling down, we'll talk about going forward.
Can I just shout out Eric Weddle as well?
Yeah.
First quarter tore his pec. And played
the whole game.
Played the whole game. The bruising, like the scene shot.
People out there, he's chasing the ring, yada yada yada.
Do play with a torn pec for 3 quarters.
Did you see the picture of it?
Yeah, it's
torn pecs look nasty.
Oh man,
the bruising.
Yeah, horrible injury. The bruising. If you haven't seen it, check out Eric Weddle. His arm and
he'll go back into retirement now and be like,
he got that ring. He's got that ring. Let's go.
Might run it back. He got 5 combined tackles, 4 solos, 1 assist.
Out there.
So handy, yeah. He was doing work.
Indeed. The numbers. We spoke about the Rams. They couldn't run the ball. We expected them to run the ball. It didn't matter. So Bengals front 7, tick. Well done.
Stepped up.
Did well in that game. Stafford threw 2 picks. They still got the W. Imagine if he doesn't throw those 2 picks. 1 was off the receiver's hands. It might have been a nastier game. We spoke about Sean McVay. We spoke about the Rams' defense. It's always a shame, isn't it, for defensive players? They're always, in terms of MVPs and accolades and getting recognition. Mm-hmm. Do you think Aaron Donald should have been the Super Bowl MVP? Do you think he was the most valuable player on that team? If you could give it to the whole unit, yeah, sure, you give it to the Rams' defense. 7 sacks. They're always fighting an uphill battle, aren't they?
They are. Do you think it was because him and Miller had 2 sacks apiece? If he maybe had 1 more sack, if he had something that was a little bit differentiated?
How do you split them kind of thing? Yeah. I guess so.
I think you also got to think the drive to get them in front. The most important place that actually won the game, that was all Cooper. If anything, you maybe give it to Stafford as well because he was the one slinging that rock to him, of course. But someone's got to catch it. So.
Let's look at the numbers because this segment is
I think
numbers.
The 2 intercepts really don't help.
So Stafford goes 26 of 40 for 283, 3 touchdowns, 2 intercepts. That doesn't scream MVP at me. No. If it's like you said, if it's 3 and no intercepts, that's probably the MVP. Cooper Kupp, after an unbelievable year, 8 receptions, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, I think it's fair enough. Yeah. I think it's fair enough.
Yeah, great reward for the year he had as well. And
indeed.
On the Bengals 7, I just want to say Logan Wilson again. Go back to the unfortunate pass interference. I thought he had an excellent game, and we shat on their linebackers last week, their front 7 needs add, but they've got Pratt there as well.
Dude.
I was watching the game. I was like, how did I forget these guys were playing on this team? They've definitely got some talent there, and they've maybe not that far away as I thought. A couple extra pieces and.
Do they go back? Do they get another chance? If you look at
they'll probably play Chiefs again in the championship game.
Yeah, well, if you look at the stats, it's not favourable for quarterbacks that go to a Super Bowl and lose. Not too many go back and get the job done. I think there might be 3 that have done that. That'll be a hard stat to chase up.
Well, I saw something that quarterbacks that make their Super Bowl debut in their second season or something have never been back. And there's 10 or 11 of them. So you worry then for Joe and what he's potentially going to do. But, yeah.
But also, if anyone can do it, he's there with one of his best friends. They've got a good running back in Joe Mixon. Yeah. That defense, is sneaky good, I think, despite us being a little bit doubtful of that front 7. If they can fix up that offensive line, and maybe get one or two more weapons on defense. Who knows going forward?
Their line's probably the biggest. He had 70 sacks this year, so fix that.
Fix
your
that.
number one
Give the
problem.
give the man a chance. Give the man a chance, and who knows? They're both so young, so never say never. But you're right. They've got to go through the Chiefs. They seem to be the gatekeepers at the moment of the AFC, and then even outside of that, you've got the Bills that aren't going away anytime soon. Titans aren't going away anytime soon. The Patriots, you'd think, probably improve with under Mac Jones' second year at the helm. It's no easy feat to make a Super Bowl, let alone win one. They captured the hearts of a lot of people, I think, this year. So. Interesting.
I hope to see him back. It was Dan Marino coming out and just like tweeting at Burrow and was like, "Yeah, I made the Super Bowl my second year. Yeah, you've got your whole career to make it back." And of course, he never made it back. So that's the joke. And you're just like,
also had one of the best seasons of all time.
Yes.
Yeah, never got that ring.
Yeah, never got the ring. He's in the Hall of Fame. Like, he's a elite quarterback and never got a ring. So.
Shout out to the big Marino.
It just shows how difficult it is to get back to the
bit of Goulburn chat there.
Yeah.
Goulburn needs some tourism. You might get a little bit off this shout out. Look that up, overseas viewers, the big Marino. So good they gave it balls and everything. It's literally got balls. It's got balls.
Not denying it.
Talking about
it's correct.
It's anatomically correct.
A big merino sheep in the lofty town of Goulburn, Australia. Check it out.
Australia likes big shit. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah. And it's usually shit.
Yeah,
prawns, pineapples, bananas, etc.
So
they all taste pretty good. So
yeah, that's true.
So on the retirees, because there was chat that Donald retire, McVay retire. I think Whitworth is probably the only one most likely to retire.
McVay?
Yeah, McVay said he was going to retire.
I think it's just shit rumors going around social media.
Well,
that is rubbish, dude.
Well,
why the fuck would you?
Well, he's on top.
He's getting.
He's 36.
He's on top. He just won a Super Bowl.
He's getting married.
He's getting married. You can't work after you get married. Okay, all right.
I think kids and family time. Like he wants to. Like
I wish that was the case.
A legit rumors were coming out that he was going to retire, and I think on socials during the week he said, "No, he's not retiring. He's coming back."
Yeah, I did.
Aaron Donald was probably more of a likelihood of a retirement considering he's 34 and he just got his ring, but again, unlikely. I think he'd play and see out his career best he can. Whitworth, of course, being the most old one, was the one I think is most likely to retire.
Yeah.
44? Something like 44.
40
years old.
What are you talking about?
Whitworth. That's how old he is.
He's 40.
Is he 40? Yeah.
Yeah. Another elite conversation here on the Esky. Like and subscribe, please. He looks like he's 54, so I'll give you that one there.
I don't think there was much else news coming out of.
What about the Rams going forward next year? Who stays? Can they keep this team together? Will they be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of this year? Next year, going forward, keeping the starters together. Can they do it?
I think so. Like it's not it's their team. Well, I don't think Von, or maybe Von comes back, but I don't think Von. He might go elsewhere, depending on what kind of money they want to offer him. He's probably the main one because he's off contract. But like they don't have any like huge, massive names outside of Donald, Stafford, OBJ, and Cooper that potentially could be picked. Like they've got a really good, strong middle core of players that just make up the whole team. So
I agree 100%. Marks, if you wouldn't mind running us through some of the guys that are off contract next year, outside of Von and OBJ, not huge names there.
No, not
Run
really.
us through some of the.
So I don't think they're going to be pilfered. Like a lot of Super Bowl teams get pilfered. I don't think that'd be the case for the Rams.
Yeah, no.
Sony Michel.
Sony Michel. I mean, you've got Matt Gay there, kicker. Brian Allen, Coleman Shelton, centers.
Nah.
Outside of that, you don't really think there's too much.
So they'll be a force next year.
Yeah,
they'll be a force. Like you say, all their big stars in Stafford, in Cup, in Akers, in Donald, Leonard Floyd, Jalen Ramsey. They're all going to be back.
Yeah.
So
I think Von's probably the likeliest one not to be back. OBJ, I think, will probably stay put if they give him a deal because of the ACL. Because I think a lot of the other teams will probably try to avoid wide receiver coming off an ACL rehab. But the Rams would do him a solid, and he'd stay there. So I think he'd probably want to as well. I think he wants to stay in LA. So yeah, I think they can keep most of that team, 90% of it together. It's not too much difficulty.
That'll wrap up our Super Bowl coverage.
I had one more quick.
Oh, yeah.
I guess good news story as well. Taylor Rapp, safety for Rams, proposed to his missus after the Super Bowl win as well.
There you go.
She said yes, so
Imagine if they said no and on the national at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no.
Goodness gracious. So we saw Brian To'o do it after the NRL Grand Final. Taylor Rapp probably got the idea off To'o. And that will wrap up our NFL chat.
Hey.
Before you sip that,